Hello class, let's go and take a look at assignment number 1 on training and development. That is worth 60 points and due on Sunday, January the 20th by 11:59 p.m. Central Time. So you have a couple weeks to work on this assignment, and it does encompass both modules 1 and 2. For part 1, I would like for you to complete the participant quiz. I've included a link to that quiz. Please note that that is due on Sunday, January the 13th by 11:59 p.m. Central Time. And the whole purpose of that is just so that you understand what is expected out of you in the course and to ensure that you are enrolled in the course and active in the course. Here is the Google form for the participant responsibility exercise. Scroll through here, complete all of the questions, make sure to include your last and first name so you will receive credit. The correct answer for all of these are yes. The purpose or the point is to make you familiar with what is expected out of you as a student in this online course. For part 2, you need to introduce yourself and create a 1 to 2 minute video. So here is the Google Sheet with where you will submit all your video as well as an image of yourself. So just put your name and your video in here, the link to your video in here. Make sure that it works before you move on, and then your image. Again, remember 1 to 2 minutes, minimum of 3 images, and the whole idea is for us to get to know you a little bit better. For part 3, this relates to chapter 1. Each of these 4 questions is worth 5 points each and deal directly with what was covered in that first chapter. And again, the idea with this first chapter is just to get an overview and insight into training and development and touch on some key, features of training and development and other things that we need to consider. And then the 4th question deals with the Inside Hamburger University video. Here's the rubric for each of those. So as I said, each is worth 5 points. It's key to make sure you think through your responses. They need to be at least 150 words in length. They need to include a reference, and they need to be in depth enough to answer the question. And make sure that there are no grammar or spelling errors as well. For the final component is based off of chapter 2, and you're going to do a business strategy analysis, and you will select any company and analyze their business strategy, creating a training and development program that aligns with their strategy. This needs to be between 1 and 2 pages in length. What you need to include in that, you need to include the name of the company and why you selected them. So you can select any company you want. It can be your employer, it could be a major corporation, it can be whatever you want. What is their business strategy? And when you do that, put that into your own words. And then how would you design a training or development program for that company, making sure to keep that business strategy in mind? And I've included an example of one of these. What components would you include in the program? I need a minimum of 4 components. Why would you include these? Who would you design the training for? And then explain why you're doing that. And then make sure to address why or how your program would relate to the company's business strategy. And the idea behind that is any training program should align with the strategy of the organization. And finally, our discussion question this week is, what is your experience with training and development? And make sure you follow the rubric for that. Here is the rubric for the discussion question. And I included that just to make sure we're on the same page as far as what is expected out of you. The idea behind the discussion question is to promote collaboration, to have shared experiences. All of us have different experiences, especially in our specific CTE field, and it's great to get those different perspectives, discuss issues from our different viewpoints. With that in mind, there are a total of 10 points on each discussion question, 4 points for the initial post, which needs to refer to the content and include at least 1 APA formatted citation. Here's just an example of what that citation will look like. After week 1, I intend to have an example available for you to better understand what is expected out of you. The response should have a clear purpose, whether to inform, persuade, or raise a question. It needs to be at least 200 words in length and posted by Wednesday. That way people have the opportunity to respond. You also have to respond to at least 3 of your classmates. Each one of those responses is worth 2 points. And with those, what I'm looking for is that your reply provoked conversation, offered an opposing view, or played devil's advocate. Not just, yes, that was a great point, I agree with you. And for each of those, they need to be at least 100 words in length. And again, the idea here is that the discussion is a great way to collaborate, to build off each other and really learn from each other as well. And that's the idea behind this rubric. And it's something that I spent the winter break looking at different rubrics as far as what is the most effective way to ensure that you're graded on quality and not just quantity, and to ensure that everybody contributes and participates equally.